So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Why am I not on the screen? There we go. Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And what a win! Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 0. Unai Emery's hex over Pep Guardiola goes on, and I have to say I was thoroughly enjoyed that game. A really, really great performance from Aston Villa, and I hope I have sound. Yeah, I do. Really, really good performance from Aston Villa. Really great structured performance as well, I think, from Aston Villa. Something that we've been wanting to see since the start of the season, and definitely saw it in buckets. Like even the spacing between midfield and defence today was really good. And what also was really interesting as well is, you know, the fact that we brought on more players or brought on players as the game went on. All of them fitted in perfectly, and like Ross Barkley played well when he came on, Jadon Sancho played well when he came on, Marlon was throwing himself into tackles at the end, you know, and the structure of the of how we defended and how we set things up didn't actually falter, which I was absolutely thrilled with, and it was really, really great to see. Yeah, so a win, and a win that takes us to within touching distance of the Champions League positions again. So we're back, I suppose, really, I think you could say in that instance. And it does throw it does throw the I suppose the go-ahead Eagles result kind of out the window. We got the result, we got the reaction that we wanted from Aston Villa. And you know, Villa looked good in this game. They looked really, really full value for their win. The way that they attacked, the way that they went forward at will at times in the first half, I thought was really good. And you know, we kept Man City quiet, albeit that Haaland did score that goal that was ruled out at the very end. You know, we kept Man City and we kept Erling Haaland really, really, really quiet, and we forced them into having to, I suppose, to deal with how we were going to attack them on the counter attack, which was really, really, really satisfying to see. Yeah, like as I say, big flowers to Onana from early on in the game. He started, you know, you could see that the positions he was picking up was really good. He was there to stop the likes of Reinders and Bernardo Silva trying to play through that Aston Villa midfield. We soaked up a bit of pressure, but I thought he was immense. I thought he was everything that we've wanted to see from Onana for the bones of a year now, and we've seen it sporadically. So you can see why a fit Onana being back in the team there is an asset to Aston Villa. His big size, his heft, his bulk, you know, is really, really important to have in that midfield. And yeah, I think he was definitely the man of the match for me. And you know, I think that he can be really proud of his performance. Also, you know, there is no debate now. Ezri Konsa is just one of the best defenders in the Premier League currently. He is absolutely amazing. Ezri Konsa is just amazing. And you have to give credit to Pau Torres as well. You know, he's come in, he's looked a lot more stable than he was at the start of the year as well. Obviously, having the stability of the 2 6s in front again is something that he will love. It would be great for him because he doesn't need to be dragged in or out of position there. And if he does get dragged out of position, Boubacar Kamara looks right back up to speed again, dropping in between the back two to make it a back three. And I just thought it was a really assured and really comfortable performance. The commentators actually at one stage mentioned about, you know, Emi Martinez was kind of kept clean in this game for, I know you need to make some saves, but he was kind of kept clean for an awful lot of this game and vast swathes of the game as well. And that was down to Villa's brilliant positioning, brilliant structure and brilliant setup between both midfield and the defence. And I have to say that, you know, the fullbacks again, we're seeing the evolution of the fullbacks, are them getting back to where they did play under Unai Emery and where they weren't playing at the start of the season. And both fullbacks I thought were immense and were brilliant today. Matty Cash has come through a lot of trials, troubles, tribulations, a lot of doubt, and he's playing really, really well at the moment. He scored that goal with his weaker foot, swung a leg at it, and it flies into the bottom corner, and we need to do that. And arguably, you could say that if other players trusted their weak foot, like maybe like if Ollie Watkins trusted his weak foot a small bit more, and had a swing at it, I think in one or two instances in this game we could have been 2 or 3-0 up at one stage. Because I thought we were very good value for that 1-0 lead, and there was other instances I think where we could have and should have probably scored as well. One that springs to mind is that brilliant Jadon Sancho run where he stood. Was it Nico O'Reilly? He stood up on the end line, went past him along the end line, got his shot away in at Donnarumma. Donnarumma saved, and he saved the second one as well. I thought that was an absolutely brilliant run from Jadon Sancho, and I'm so impressed with him. I am impressed by Jadon Sancho, and I have been in a lot of the cameos he's made, because he's very a good carrier of the ball, and it takes the pressure off Morgan Rogers, who again, I keep on saying everybody was brilliant today, but Morgan Rogers' carrying of the ball again was back to early 2024 stuff. Early in last season's performances, he was carrying the ball confidently like that. Against Spurs last week, Spurs had to foul him at times to stop him getting runs on their midfield. Today, there was times as well where he was able to shrug off Man City players and was able to run past them. Thought he was really good again today. But having that dual dribbling ability in Morgan Rogers and Jadon Sancho as well is so important. It takes that workload off Rogers, and the interchangeability of the two of those guys as well. Rogers spent a lot of time out on the right, spent time playing through the centre. Jadon Sancho was hugging the touchline. Sometimes he was coming in more as a traditional inverted 10. And John McGinn then given that freedom to run around the place, and do what he does best: get on the ball, make himself a nuisance, pick up the second balls, and just be John McGinn. I thought it was just such a clean and confident performance, and there was no stage where they looked kind of rattled. Even at the end, when City were applying tons and tons of pressure, they didn't really look rattled. They looked like they were in the zone, focused, and at times against Go Ahead Eagles that wasn't the case. But fast forward 72 hours on, and Aston Villa were a completely different beast today, playing at home. And as I said at the start, Unai's hex over Pep Guardiola continues at Villa Park, and we've beaten him now 3 years in a row. I think they said we've beaten him 3 years in a row at Villa Park, and that's super achievement. We're now on how many points are we on? We're on 15 points, I think it is now, with 16 points being in the Champions League positions. So can't really sniff at that. I think that's pretty. Yeah, I'm just checking 15 points. Man United on 16 points, Man City on 16 points, Sunderland on 17, Bournemouth on 18. So essentially, we're 3 points off second place here. 3 points off second place, albeit Spurs do have to play still, and they're just behind us. But 3 points off second place ain't a bad place to be, considering we had a very uncharacteristic and unwanted start, I think, at the start of the season. The fact that we didn't play well, and now we've kind of 4 wins in a row. We've rocketed back up the league, and it's been a weekend of weird results. It really has been a weekend of weird results. I suppose United's result against Brighton there looked every inch a 3-1 win there. You had Sunderland's win at Chelsea. You had what other results were there? You had Brentford's win at Liverpool as well. So it's been, and now our win at Man City, albeit not as kind of an eyebrow raising as maybe those other 2 wins. It's still concertinas up the league nicely, and gives us that chance that you go on a run, you get streaky, you catapult yourself up the league. We've got, so from Spurs and Manchester City so far, we've gotten 6 points out of a murderous run of 3 games, whereby it wasn't looking great at the start of that. We've got 6 points. We've got Liverpool to come, a wounded animal, but an animal that aren't playing well. And what have Liverpool lost? Is that 3 in a row now? Liverpool have lost, I think. And we've got them coming up next, albeit at Anfield. But still, we go there, we get something from that. You take 7 points from 9. have to be bloody delighted with yourself when you're coming up against 3 teams that would have been expected, given our run of form that we had at the start of the season. It would have been expected to come and beat us, and we would have been expected to lose all 3 of those games. So we've won 2 out of the 3, and we go to Anfield. Not a happy hunting ground for us. Liverpool is never a good game for us, but we go there deep in the confidence, I suppose, that, you put in performances like we did against City there, albeit we were playing them at Villa Park. You put in performances like that, you're going to get something out of games. You're going to get something out of games, and it all comes down to the coherency and to the, I suppose, the cleverness of little tweaks and changes from Unai Emery as well, but the coherency of the team. That team today had a lot of experience in it, and as I said, they've weathered the storm of the start of the season and put us back in a massive position now to get more European qualification, or to get whatever type of European qualification we will get, or we may get at the end of the season. And we're in a position now to determine which pot we would be in based on our recent form. And if that continues, well, then sky's the limit, because of the concertina effect within this league. I'm going to come to some of your comments there. If my mouse wants to work. So let's have a little look there. Yeah. Konza, I see somebody saying there Konza was his man of the match. I thought Konza was bloody amazing. Yeah. There we go. Matthew says Konza is best in the Premier League right now. He's up there. Really, really is up there. Like, he's so cultured now as a centre half. Like, there's no way in the world he's not the first choice English centre half. Currently, I know we've seen him being there in that first choice tandem there as in that partnership. But like, it's unequivocal now. Like, he's just the best English defender that there is at the moment. He's incredible, and it should not be understated how good he's been for Aston Villa since he signed for us, and how much he's learned and developed under Unai Emery to be to be as good as he is now, and such a joy to watch, I suppose, really, as well. Yeah, Bog says we're up to 7th as well. Oh yes, Richard Edwards. Torres' clearance off the line. He says, Richard says he nearly swallowed his tongue. Yeah, I didn't know what, I wouldn't have chosen to clear it off the line just like that, put it that way. It was one of those ones that the heart was in the mouth, all right. But needs must, and he got it up over the bar, and he did what he needed to do. Torres, I thought, was really good as well today. So there is that. Michael O'Brien says Buendia hurt himself taking a shot. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happened to Buendia there. I wonder, did he break a toe or something along those lines? It was hard to even see where he was holding. It looked like he was kind of holding maybe the back of his ankle. So we'll see what comes from that. I don't know if anybody has any of the post-match stuff on, if Unai Emery's mentioned anything about it, if there's been anything on Twitter since about Buendia. But that's definitely something. That's probably the only negative, I suppose, in this, is the fact that Buendia, who was having a brilliant game, and linking up really well with Morgan Rogers, linking up really well with Luca Dean down that left-hand side as well. He was having a really good game, and it was a shame to see him come off so early in the game. But, as I say, Jadon Sancho comes on, and, excuse me for yawning. Jadon Sancho comes on, and we didn't skip a beat, and he looked every bit as threatening going down that side. Obviously posed a different threat with his carrying ability, and hats off to him. He's been really, really good every time he's been called on, and I think he's going to grow and get better as this team grows and gets better throughout the course of this year as well. Fitness being a big thing, I think, for this team. This team stays fit, and we've got options like that, and we get the consistency and the coherency like we did there between midfield and defense. Or we should be going into games if we're able to display that consistency on a consistent basis. If we're going into games like that with that mindset, we should be a match for anybody in this Premier League, as we've seen there by beating arguably one of the top 2 teams in the league. So great stuff from everyone on the field there as well. Where are we? Howard Jones says Konza is a stunning player, still growing in the role with his international experience. I think we'll see him go up in levels, and that's scary. He's really good. If he goes up more levels, even as he matures even into his 30s, when defenders usually try to not rely on their physicality or their physical attributes as much. be brilliant to see where he goes, and hopefully his whole career or the rest of his career is spent in an Aston Villa shirt as well. Dave says, up the Villa lads. Watkins doesn't look right. Other than that, very structured. Team selection was bang on. Yeah, I thought with Watkins, couple of passes, he just didn't look confident with them. As I say, that one instance where he backheeled the ball instead of actually having a shot with it on his left foot, he backheeled it. I think to Bundia. I think we got a shot away. I think McGinn maybe got a shot away and it just went wide. In that instance, I think that was the one. Yeah, he looked like he didn't have a lot of confidence, but hold up play I thought was really good today. But strikers should be there to score goals as well, and he doesn't have a lot of goals this year. He's only one goal, and he needs to up his goal tally for sure. But goals are coming from other parts of the field as well, and I think that's worth mentioning too. That Unai Emery, while it would be great to have a striker that gets into double digits and maybe onto 20 goals. Not that we've ever really had a striker that's got onto 20 goals in the league in such a long time. But to have a striker get into the high teens is obviously important. But with Unai Emery, a big important piece for him is the goals come from all around the team. And now we've got Matty Cash with 2 goals this season. We've got John McGinn scoring goals. We've Morgan Rogers scoring a goal. It'll be nice to see those goals spread around and giving everybody that confidence as well. But yes, Ollie Watkins needs to start scoring goals, I think, for sure. Michael O'Brien also says as well, Martinez did do a lot of good sweeping up. To be fair, he controlled the box. Yeah, I look again. Whatever went on in the summer, Emi Martinez is in the top 5 goalkeepers in the world, if not the best goalkeeper in the world. And it's great to see him there, blemish free. So the camera wasn't on him an awful lot, which is always a great sign of the way our defense is going. And another cog in the wheel, I suppose, that's worked so well, or worked so well in this one. Where are we? Michael Huggins says controlled performance. Congratulations to all the players. Please keep the focus going forward. Absolutely. Feel bad for Buendia, says Alex Ward. Looks to have rolled his ankle. Will be out for up to 8 weeks. The man can't catch a break. Was that confirmed, the 8 weeks, please? Was that confirmed? I don't know. Tilly Tim asks, have I been drinking? I was drinking yesterday quite a lot. Absolutely quite a lot yesterday. We went on a booze cruise yesterday, and I could have done without having to without having to do daddy duties today, because it was a heavy one yesterday. Really, really was. But no, not been drinking today, thankfully. I'm just extremely tired and hungover. Hot Text Highlands says Guessand and Barkley were inspired subs. Yeah, I was impressed with Guessand as well when he came on. The guy works really, really hard, but again, he was brought in to score goals. He was brought in to be a striker, or to be a forward player as such. Listen, he's doing some great stuff in tracking back. He's doing some great stuff in bullying players out in that right wing. From a defensive point of view, and from a structural, tactical setup point of view as well. He's doing some great stuff. Again, I want to see him start scoring goals. I want to see more of that attacking flair, and I'd actually like to see him maybe tried as the number 9 at some stage, because that's where he played for Nice, and I think that would be something that I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him in that position for sure. Where are we? I'm scrolling down through here, and yeah, Jem says Onana looked a bargain at 50 million today. I don't know if there's such thing as a 50 million bargain, but I know what you mean. That was his first. His best performance, should I say, in a long time for Villa. I thought he was absolutely excellent. Really, really did. Really thought he was absolutely excellent. Yes, Joe Montague, absolutely. The way we beat their press was very good at times. What a defensive performance, very solid. Yeah, we played the trap. Like, they fell right into our trap at times in the first half, whereby we played triangles around their midfield, and they committed in the press. We stayed resolute, I suppose, and we stayed confident in our ability to be able to play those passes around. And once it opened up, once you beat that high press, once it opened up at the back, and we were able to stream players forward. And look, as I say, we could have scored, and we could have gotten a couple of more chances away, or at least scored a couple of more chances, should I say, from those as well. Where else are we? Uh, 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 Where else are we? Simon says he had Cash as his man of match until injury time, and Onana with more blocks overtook him. Yeah, Cash. I thought Matty Cash was really good again today. Super. Super assured performance for him. Look, he's come back from an awful lot. He was poor at the start of the season. He was poor at the end of last season at times. But look, we've gotten 2 really good goals, and he's defending resolutely as well. And he looks like he's, once again, he's slotted back in there as that cog in the wheel. And it's just great to see that defense perform the way it is at the moment. It really, really is. Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about Jadon Sancho. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Never worried about anything like that. I don't really mind if he's not happy. That's brilliant. It's good to have players that aren't happy. He was really he was taken off because we wanted to just shore things up. He was brought on in the 19th minute, and yeah, he was taken off again. But he played really, really well today. And if you're a manager, I suppose that's what you do. You focus on that when you're talking to him. I'm sure everything's fine there. And Richard asks, "Where's Elliot?" Like, as I say again, it's not really a massive surprise to me because Unai Emery has said outright that he's just somebody who isn't quite ready yet to fit in, and that's why we talk about the structure that we have and this the coherency and the systemic type of play that we have at the moment. Harvey Elliott's Maverick. He's really technical. He's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. He's really good, and I think we will see him as the over the coming weeks. I was surprised he wasn't in the match day panel today. And yes, it's important to kind of ask those questions of the manager. Look, he was the marquee loan on the last day of the season. And it's important to ask those questions with regards to, look, was he signed by Monchi? Was there agreement that was here? Is that maybe why Monchi is gone? Was there not falling out, but was there disagreement? All those questions are asked on Twitter. But to be honest with you, it's a good problem to have that we're 4 wins on the bounce, and Harvey Elliott isn't deemed as being of the sufficient caliber to be in our match day squad. I'd love if it was different. I'd love if he was in the match day squad and we could fit him in there and we could fit him into this team because he's a prodigious talent. But we're getting the results that we need. And it's the likes of Bundia, it's the likes of Gesand, it's the likes of Jadon Sancho and those guys that are kind of keeping him off. They're playing well, and his time will come. His time will absolutely come. I don't buy too much into this whole we're not playing him because of the 10 games thing. That could be the situation, but at the end of the day, Unai Emery wants to win football matches, and he's doing that with the players that he has. And when those players don't perform, I'm sure that Harvey Elliott will be co-opted back into the team. But yes, it was a shock today that he wasn't in the match day squad. And I'm sure Unai Emery will answer to that over the coming days as well. I'm sure we'll get more of the same, just to say that he's still working. He's a great guy. He's working on fitting into the system tactically, and as I say, we'll bide our time and see what Harvey Elliott has to offer, I suppose, over the coming weeks, and if he can force his way back into not even just match the squad, but also the 11 as well, because he is a prodigious talent. He is really, really good. But as I say, we're winning games at the moment without him. And hopefully when we're able to integrate him, that will even kick us on and give us that little jolt that we need to freshen things up if needs be in 6-7 weeks' time as we get into maybe the Christmas period. That would be great. A clean sheet as well. Yes. I forgot all about that. I forgot all about it. I forgot to mention it. Another great clean sheet. Absolutely, against a team who had a striker who basically all he had to do was look at the goals and he was scoring recently, whether it be for club or whether it be for country. He's just like a machine. Villa kept him quiet today, and Villa have done that often, under Unai Emery. We've really found a way to play him out of games, or to make him play himself out of games. And I thought that was the case today. I don't know how many touches he had in the whole game. Let me just see there, because I'd be interested to know. What that is. What the touch count would be for him, because it felt like, I remember coming up in half time, they mentioned something like he'd only 8 touches of the ball. So if I look here, where is it? Where are you gone to? How many touches the ball did Haaland have? He only passed the ball. He's 7 passes anyway, and he had 3 shots. Yeah, so he had Haaland only 17 touches. 17 touches. Um, wow, that's pretty mad. That's a not like can compare it to Watkins with 31 touches. Buendia was only on the field for what was it? How long was Buendia in the field for? 29 minutes, half an hour. Buendia had 21 touches of the ball. So Haaland didn't get into this game, and we didn't allow him get into this game, and we marshaled him really well. And I think that that's something that Unai has been good at doing. We've been good at doing that for. I'm not going to say in the main, but when we come up against a main striker like that, we've been better than not at marshalling a main striker like that. Like I'm even thinking to I'm even thinking back to Bayern Munich when we beat Munich in the Champions League, when we drew Juventus. They had good tall big number 9s, proper strikers there, and we kind of marshaled them pretty well in those games too. And we've grown into a habit of doing it with Erling Haaland, specifically at Villa Park as well. And yeah, I think that's great to see as well. Where else are we? Yeah, Devon says didn't know Helen could fit in Onana's pocket, and I think that's actually a great point as well. With Onana being in there and the heft that he brings, it's difficult to play through the center when you've got the two of them in there. You've got himself and Kamara in there, and they're both on form and they're both humming. And that's great to see. And long may that continue, because we've got great options in that area of the field. I'm getting to the stage whereby the team winning and obviously everybody else is the exact same here, but the team winning above all else is the thing that matters. I know the way, spoiler alert, I don't think that's I think everybody is exactly the same, but to me it doesn't matter who is playing as long as the structure looks correct. And if the structure looks correct, then you'll have man of the match performances for players like Onana. Specifically, and in that midfield, you'll have an opportunity to be man of the match more often than not, because it's a heavily laden part of the field. You're tasked with an awful lot in both areas of play, whether it be defensive or attacking, even if you are playing as a 6. So like opportunities are rife with regards to I suppose to gain personal accolades in an Unai Emery midfield system as well. And more power to him, more power to him, and hopefully he absolutely goes on to crush it from here on in. Right, I think I'm going to leave it at that, everybody. But before I do, I want to, once again, as I say, I wanted to thank NordVPN. They have we've a limited sponsorship with them. They did extend it for a shorter period of time, I think into the middle of November. If you guys are looking for anything VPN wise, you can click on this here on this QR code here as well. We also have all the details for anything to do with our NordVPN offer in the bio as well for this, so you can click on the link there too. And yourself with NordVPN, whether it's watching football, whether it's just trying to have some sort of safety online so that your information isn't at risk from hackers or whatever the case may be. You can log on to one of their servers and you can give yourself that little bit of, I suppose a comfortability when you're using, like we just talked about Amadou Onana and Kamara providing a shield for our defense, and how good Ezri Konsa is. You need to protect yourself as well, and that's my crummy line at trying to build in a sales pitch for NordVPN. But look, if you are interested in it, there you go. There's a QR code up there, and we'd be delighted. Every click on it and every NordVPN subscription does help out the podcast, and helps us to try and enact what we want to enact in 2026 with some get-togethers, and also potentially trying to get to do a documentary on a former Aston Villa player, which if we could get it off the ground, would be a personal highlight of anything I think I've ever done. So it would be nice to be able to do it. So anyway, more on that as and when we know more. But yeah, great win for Aston Villa today, 1-0 versus City. We have catapulted ourselves up the league in the last few days, and our last few weeks, should I say, and long may it continue. We're only a point off the Champions League positions, albeit that Spurs have to play still this weekend. But yeah, keep them coming, Unai Emery. 4 unbeaten in the league. Let's keep going. And thanks so much, everybody, for watching and for listening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up Villa.